Mega corporations don't care if you know how evil they are because you will never do anything about it. And I think a lot of us have heard about mega corporations like Oracle, BlackRock, and Palantir, and all about how they are essentially always finding new ways to do cartoonishly evil shit.
Is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion kill them. And we hope you're in favor of that. We hope you're enjoying being a partner, and we're really happy and very, very focused on what we're doing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That concludes Q&A for today's call.
And when you look at the mentality of a lot of these executives have towards humans and humanity, you will begin to understand why they're fine just building literal kill robots.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know.
These people don't care about you, me, or seemingly anyone who isn't themselves or super rich and super evil. But why don't they care that we know how evil they are? I mean, everyone knows how important PR is to most companies. Well, the answer here is actually quite simple. The clients of these corporations don't care, or they don't know who they're buying from. Okay, so we know they are evil and we know they don't care, but why do these corporations even exist? Like, who let these people become so rich and so powerful? How did they get in this position? Alright, to understand this, we're going to have to go back in time a bit. Since capitalism was basically shot out of feudalism's dying corpse in the late 18th century, the corporation has been a central component of society. But why? The liberal capitalists would want you to think that corporations and venture capital are what keep innovation and competition going, that you have the freedom to choose who you buy from, and that companies have to do the right thing, or else people won't buy from them and they won't make money. And that's why certain people are rich and certain people are poor. The people who are rich are just smarter people and harder workers. The reality here is quite a bit different. The ultra-wealthy owners of companies and corporations simply filled a power vacuum left by the feudal lords of the past. In many cases, they quite literally are the relatives or descendants of aristocrats. Like in England, where the aristocracy and gentry still own around 30% of all land. A lot of people who are the executives or heads of these massive corporations, they didn't actually work hard to get in the position they were in. They were given money to be able to make more money, right? A lot of these people inherited most of their wealth, and it's led to massive generations of people who are just super wealthy, controlling so much of our economy, society as a whole. But if we ever want to get these evil people out of power, we have to understand the logic that allows them to get power and maintain the power that they have. And that starts with knowing that the idea that we somehow need these corporations and companies as they currently exist for society to function is just entirely false. First, a quick caveat. When I say we don't need corporations and companies as they currently exist, I'm referring to the liberal free market version of a company that's sole purpose is to extract profit for its shareholders. I'm not, however, talking about organizations of labor that work towards the creation of a certain product or products for society's use. The shareholder system adds no surplus value to products produced by a company. All it does is extract value created by the workers of said company. Let's look to a historic example that basically set the precedent for why this is. Dodge v. Ford Motor Company in 1919. After the massive success of the Model T, the Ford Motor Company had a surplus of $60 million by 1916. Because of this, the price of the Model T had been decreased and workers' wages increased, which sounds great, right? It's a win-win scenario. Customers get a cheaper product, workers get more money. So where's the issue here? Shareholders. Shareholders thought that they were owed a larger piece of the pie than the workers who actually made the product. So naturally, they took Ford Motor Company to court, and eventually the case made it all the way up to the Michigan Supreme Court, where it was decided in a unanimous decision that since Ford Motor Company was a for-profit business, they therefore had to prioritize shareholder profits above all else, above the workers who actually made the product and the customers who actually had to buy the product for it ever to have success in the first place. Now, keep in mind that this is a very dumbed-down telling of the events of the case, and that I implore everyone to read more into it because it's so impactful on modern-day America. This case set a precedent that to this day has been followed without much exception, which has led to our current system of the brutal stock exchange. I mean, let's really think about the system of buying and selling stocks. When someone buys and sells stocks and makes money off of it, where is that money actually coming from? How are they actually making money from it? And a capitalist will tell you that it's an investment, that if good, makes money back because they're helping money into a company that will help it make better and therefore make more money. But if we see that historically shareholder prioritization only makes companies drive up costs and lower wages, is the money investors put into in reality, is the money investors put in really making a better company, or is it just stealing more money from the customers and workers? Right? It might make sense at the surface level that the owner of a company should make the profits from the company. Fuck. But in reality, the people who are actually making the company function, the workers and the customers, they should get the benefits of their support. Right? These are the people who make the companies run. The current shareholder system disincentivizes any care towards the people who the companies need to actually function, and that's dangerous. We don't need the stock exchange for companies to function, and I would argue that without the stock exchange, companies would actually work to make a better product for consumers at a lower cost and pay their workers better. The stock exchange has turned companies into machines for profit. It has created enterprises that serve no purpose but to buy and sell other parts of companies as well. This is why, especially now, we see megacorporations like BlackRock, which own massive amounts of every single company. And it's why we have companies that own companies that own companies that own other companies. The modern American company has made our economy just a bunch of people trying to steal as much money as they can from the most vulnerable in our society. The issue is, though, that the stock exchange is so deeply entrenched in our economy and everyday function that without it, it seems like America and the world economy would collapse. And it kind of would. Any smart person has a saving account that goes directly into investments so they can have money to retire. This is exactly why companies and corporations like Palantir, BlackRock, and Oracle don't care if you know how evil they are. Because they know that as long as America is capitalist, we're basically powerless against them. Let's go back to the broader picture. We're entering, in my opinion, the later stages of capitalism, and because of that, these corporations are buying up every single thing out there and making it basically impossible for anyone to actually own anything. And I think a really good example of this here would be the RAM shortage right now. You see a lot of companies like Amazon, Jeff Bezos recently saying that eventually people won't even be like owning their own computers. They'll just be streaming games on their computers, and you won't actually own your own computer. And it's kind of the similar thing to what we see now with massive streaming services, right? If you want to watch a certain movie or TV show, you have to find which out of the 30 billion streaming services are out there it's on, and then pay like $10 a month to be able to watch one TV show. That's how they get you, essentially, right? They're buying up, making everything so expensive that the average person can't actually own their own entertainment, so that they can rent it out to you for a bigger profit and passive income. I mean, look back to BlackRock, an equity management company which is buying up huge swaths of the housing market and reselling them or turning them into rental properties so the everyday average person can't ever own their own home. These companies have become machines of wealth that helps and benefits literally no one except the shareholders that they serve. This, I think, is one of the most dangerous things in our time. The commodification of housing, people no longer buying a house, and I want this house so me and my family. People no longer buy a house and think, I want this house so me and my family can have a good life. They buy a house and think in the back of their mind, how much money can I make off of this house when I sell it? And quite frankly, it's depressing. Capitalism is especially in this stage, feels like everyone's just trying to screw each other as much as possible. And I think a large part of why we in America have let it get this far is the American mentality of hyper-individualism. So many people in America would rather have the slightest chance of becoming super wealthy than have equity for all. The idea of caring for each other is oftentimes seen as weakness. We've come to kind of just expect to be screwed, but it's okay, because maybe one day we can screw someone else over and just make money off of them. If we ever want an end to the stranglehold that these companies have over our economy, We first need a massive change in the American ethos. We need to care for our neighbors because these companies rely on us fighting each other, because they know that against a collectivized people, they are powerless.